Bayern Munich came to the Bernabeu and left with 3 points. Luis Diaz opened the scoring on 41 minutes. Harry Kane made it 2-0 just seconds into the second half. And although Mbappe pulled one back on 74 from a Trent assist, it wasn't enough. Real Madrid won, Bayern 2, and now the mountain is even steeper. Welcome to Ruido Blanco.
No red cards, no VAR drama to report, just a painful home defeat and a squad that now has to go to the Allianz Arena and do something extraordinary. But before we get to Munich, there's a La Liga match tonight against Girona, and the fan base has a lot of feelings about all of it.
Alvaro Carreras fouled 3 times. Militao had a late effort saved by Neuer. Mbappe went close in the 89th. There were moments, there were flickers, but Bayern were the better side. Let's get into what the fans are making of all this.
It's Girona Day, and based on what fans are saying, you'd barely know it. The conversation out there is about Bayern Munich, about referees, about Barcelona, about basically everything except the match tonight.
Tio, it's remarkable. We've got a La Liga game tonight that could actually matter for the table, and the fans are mentally already in Munich. The Girona preview content is getting ignored, and the referee conspiracy threads are absolutely on fire.
And look, I get it. We talked yesterday about fans being split between dreaming of the remontada and barely caring about Girona, and today's comments confirm it completely. But what's really grabbed my attention is how Arbeloa's press conference has become its own storyline.
Madre mia, the fans are loving it. One comment that got a ton of traction basically says, and I'm translating here, "I'm so grateful to Arbeloa for his press conferences, reminding everyone what's been going on in this league with a little help." That sentiment is everywhere right now.
And Arbeloa did it again. He came out before tonight's match and said, quote, "You all know what I think about what has happened over so many years and continues to happen." He's not naming names, he's not giving specifics, but every Madrid fan knows exactly what he means.
Here's the thing though, the fan base is not entirely united on this. There's a segment saying Arbeloa is doing something important, holding up a mirror to the league. But there's another group asking a very practical question. Is this helping the team? One fan put it like this: Arbeloa, what signings are you going to ask the president for next season? Have you thought about a player you like who won't cost 100 million? Like, focus on the football, Tio.
That's a fair tension, actually. The fans who love the press conference persona are the ones who feel vindicated. Finally, a Madrid coach who says publicly what they've been screaming on forums for years. But the more pragmatic fans are starting to ask whether the narrative is becoming a crutch.
And the referee discourse tonight has a very specific edge to it because the referee for Real Madrid versus Girona has been announced, Arbeloa, and already the comments are going sideways. This is before a single minute has been played. Que barbaridad.
Look, I'll say this. One fan laid out the argument that I think represents a big chunk of the fan base right now, and it goes something like, the difference between Madrid and Barcelona in the league comes down to that 15 to 20% of matches where the bottleneck or the lack of precision gets solved by referees in Barcelona's favor and against Madrid. That's a specific, structured argument, not just rage.
Whether you agree with it or not, that's the lens through which a massive portion of the fan base is watching every single match right now. And tonight, with Arbeloa in charge and Munuera in the VR room, those fans are going in with the microscope already out.
Right. And that brings us to La Liga itself, because there's a really uncomfortable number floating around fan discussions today. 26 defeats in 115 matches across the last 2 seasons. That's a 22+% loss rate. And fans are wrestling with what it means.
Some fans are pointing straight at the referees. Without payments, there's no glory, then they wonder why Madrid doesn't win leagues. That kind of take. But honestly, the more honest comments are admitting that Madrid have just been beatable in a way they haven't been for years. You can't blame every single one of those 26 losses on the officials.
And yet, I keep coming back to the Bayern match, because that's where fans' heads actually are. The comments section is full of people who have essentially mentally filed La Liga under lost cause and are running calculations on Munich.
Venga, let's talk about it. Because the Champions League sentiment today is fascinating. One fan put it really cleanly. We know La Liga is difficult. The Champions League is the only thing. They need to play their last important match of the year with the best attitude and intensity. That framing, last important match of the year, tells you everything about where the fan base's priorities have landed.
And there's a defiant strand running through the UCL comments too. Of course, we believe always, not just for fun. 15 Champions Leagues, Hala Madrid, that kind of pure faith energy. It's not tactical, it's not analytical, it's just belief. And honestly, after a 2-1 home defeat, that's what the fan base needs to hold on to.
The remontada conversation has a historical reference point fans keep dropping: Arsenal. Multiple people are referencing that comeback, saying things like, if they do it like against Arsenal, that's the template, that's the dream, go to the Allianz, flip it.
Which is interesting because the Arsenal comparison cuts both ways. Yes, Madrid pulled off a stunning comeback, but the circumstances were different. The squad situation was different. The fans who are invoking Arsenal are leaning on the mystique, not the statistics.
And you know what? Sometimes the mystique is real, but let's be honest. The squad going to Munich will need Bellingham sharp. It will need Mbappe to actually show up in a big moment, which he did get that goal against Bayern on the 74th minute from a Trent assist, so there is something to build on. And it needs Vinicius to channel whatever he had against Atletico, rather than what we saw in the first half against Bayern.
And Vinicius is in a much better place with the fan base this week than he was 4 days ago. Yesterday, we covered how the defense of Vinicius was growing, and today, the comments bear that out. The anger has shifted away from him and back onto the broader structural questions.
Now, Girona tonight. Arbeloa has Tchouaméni on a yellow card from the Bayern match, which is something to watch. And there's a separate conversation brewing about what tonight's lineup actually tells us. Does Arbeloa rotate with Munich in mind, or does he go full strength?
Fans are genuinely split on this, and some are frustrated either way. If he rotates, fans will say he's given up on La Liga. If he goes full strength and someone picks up an injury or a yellow, fans will say he was reckless ahead of the most important match of the season. There's no winning framing for Arbeloa on this one.
One fan asked a question today that I think cuts right to the heart of the Arbeloa era right now. Arbeloa, enthusiasm is important, but winning, I want to believe. Have you already managed the previous match? It's clunky, but the sentiment is real. Nice speeches, nice press conferences, but where are the results?
And that's the tension that's going to define how tonight is received. If Madrid win convincingly against Girona, Arbeloa gets to walk into Munich with momentum and credibility. If they drop points again, the nice guy, bad manager narrative comes roaring back.
There's also a broader conversation about Barcelona bubbling under all of this. Fans talking about Flick's hypocrisy and the club's dealings, but honestly the details of that one are messy and the fan sentiment is more venting than structured argument. The core Madrid story tonight is Girona, stay healthy, then Munich.
That's the clearest summary of where the fan base is at. Get through tonight, stay healthy, get to Munich. Whether they actually care about the 3 points is almost secondary at this point. And that tells you everything about the state of La Liga from a Madrid fan perspective in April 2026.
Hala Madrid, Tio. That's it from us this morning. Tonight's match is on. We'll have everything. The result. The referee drama that fans are already preloading for, the Munich implications, all of it in tomorrow morning's post-match episode. Vamos.
We'll be back tomorrow morning with the full reaction. Whatever happens at the Bernabeu tonight, we'll be processing it with you. See you then.
Okay, the fans have spoken, and the overwhelming theme is that nobody really cares about Girona. Everyone's already on the plane to Munich, and the lineup question is driving people mad. But Maria, you've been sitting there quietly with a spreadsheet open the entire time. The fans are asking whether Arbeloa should rotate, whether Vinicius should start, whether this squad can actually create chances. So let's stop guessing and look at what the numbers actually say about tonight.
Let's talk about Girona, and let's start with the number that matters most. Vladislav Vanat has 9 goals from 9.5 expected goals this season. That tells you everything. He's not a streaky finisher riding luck. He is a precise, efficient striker who converts almost exactly what the model says he should.
Okay, so he's clinical, but not some kind of monster overperformer. I can live with that. How do we stop him?
You cut off his supply completely, because the moment you look beyond Vanat, Girona's attack falls off a cliff. Tsigankov has 5 goals, Ivan Martin has 0, Alex Moreno has 0. This is a dangerously top-heavy attack. Neutralize the Ukrainian striker, and you have essentially neutralized their entire goal-scoring threat.
And Huijsen and Rudiger can do that, right? We know they can. Against Mallorca, we won 52 duels. Against Bayern, it was 50. This Madrid backline has been physically dominant all season.
Exactly. And that aerial and physical dominance is precisely why I expect Van Aert to be smothered. My prediction is he finishes this match with one shot on target at most. But here's where I need you to stay calm, Rafa, because Girona are actually better than their league position suggests.
Oh no, what does that mean?
Their underlying numbers show a team underperforming their attacking talent. When you add up Van Aert's 9.5 expected goals, Tsigankov's 5.1, and Moreno's 1.5, you have a squad that should be generating far more danger than their table position implies. And Madrid have conceded 4 goals across their last 2 matches. The defensive organization is not bulletproof right now.
4 goals in 2 games. I keep trying to forget that number and you keep bringing it back. Arbeloa has to have this sorted, no?
That's the key variable. Now let's talk about the other side of the pitch, because this is where the data gets very exciting. Kylian Mbappe has 23 goals from 22.5 expected goals in La Liga this season. 117 shots, the highest volume at the club by a significant margin. This is not a hot streak. This is elite, sustainable finishing.
And against Mallorca, he hit the post. He was denied by the keeper. All those near misses. The data says he was due. And now he gets Girona? Ay, Dios mío. Poor Gazaniga.
Here's why this matchup is so favorable for Mbappe specifically. Girona press higher than Mallorca did, and Madrid's open play expected goals against Mallorca's deep block was already 1.01. Against a higher defensive line, there is more space in behind, which is precisely where Mbappe is most dangerous. Add Trent Alexander-Arnold's delivery from deep, who already produced an assist against Bayern, and you have a combination that Girona's backline is not equipped to handle.
Okay, so bold prediction time. You're saying Mbappe scores twice, ends the near-miss run, and Trent is the one unlocking them? I love it. I'm nervous about everything else, but I love that prediction.
Now for the most controversial data point of this preview. Arda Güler has created 10 chances across Madrid's last 3 matches, 4 against Bayern, 4 against Mallorca, 2 against Atletico. No other Madrid player comes close to that creative output in the same window. His pass accuracy against Atletico was 97% in a high-pressure derby. The data says Güler is the heartbeat of this team right now.
I feel like you're about to say something that's going to make people very angry on the internet.
The bold prediction: if Arbeloa starts Güler and plays him the full 90 minutes, Madrid create at least 4 big chances and win comfortably. If Vinicius Jr. starts ahead of him and Güler comes off the bench, the match becomes tighter than it should be against a mid-table side. Because Vinicius generated 9 dribble attempts against Bayern, but only 2 key passes. And against a pressing Girona team, ball retention and precision from the creative players matters more than individual moments of brilliance.
Dios mío. Maria, you're telling Arbeloa to drop Vinicius. The data is telling Arbeloa to drop Vinicius. This is going to be a very lively comment section. But honestly, after those numbers on Güler, I cannot argue with it. Just win the game. That's all I ask.
And that's exactly what the data is screaming too. The formula tonight is simple on paper. Smother Van Aert, trust Güler to create, and let Mbappe do what he does. 3 points, no injuries, and then Madrid can dream about Munich with something real to build on. Not just mystique, but momentum.
Fans are running on faith and fury right now. The Arsenal remontada energy, the Arbeloa press conference theater, the referee microscope already trained on Arbeloa. And honestly, after hearing those numbers on Güler and Mbappe, maybe the faith is justified. The data and the believers are pointing in the same direction tonight. Start Güler, feed Mbappe, win the game, get to Munich. That's the episode. That's the mission. Tomorrow morning, we'll have everything. How the lineup actually looked, whether the referee drama materialized, and what it all means for the Allianz. Hala Madrid.